Welcome back. Come sit with me for a moment. You don't need to do anything right now. You don't need to be motivated. And you don't need to be inspired yet. Just breathe. January has a way of doing this to us. The days are shorter. The mornings are darker. The cold lingers in your bones. And the dreams you were excited about just a few weeks ago, suddenly they feel far away. You know, if you're feeling that, it's not that you're weak. It's that you're human. And this is the season that matters the most. This is the grind. This is the moment that builds you. And this is at least 90% of everything you do happens in the grind. You know, and thought about this. January doesn't cheer for you. It doesn't clap. It doesn't celebrate effort. January simply asks you, will you show up? Because this is the time when motivation fades. When all goals seem incredibly distant. When summer seems a lifetime away. And yet this is where we pour our foundation. Not in the spotlight, not on race day, not on the summit, but here in the quad, cold, in the grind. So what I'd like to do is I'd like to reframe the grind for you and me, because I've been thinking about this lately. You know, as I was coming into the end of the year holidays, it's like there's all kinds of exciting things coming, and food and lights, and like, you know, it's got this air. And in the end, I think they created that kind of holiday at the end of the year to combat the cold, dark winter. But once you're past it, like my wife said the other day, it just feels kind of anticlimactic. You're looking forward to it for so long, and then it's gone in a heartbeat. And now all you're left with is dark mornings, dark afternoons, rain, and cold, because we're on the West Coast. But let's talk about the grind. And I need to hear this too, because I was starting to get in a little bit of funk thinking, you know, I'm a long ways from anything. Because somewhere along the way, I think we all learned to dislike or hate the grind, to resent it, and to kind of wish it away. But let me tell you something that I've learned over the years. The grind isn't punishment. The grind is preparation. If you think about it, the competition, the race, the big moment, the summit, even the climb and the summit, all those big things that we work towards, it's less than 10% of the time. 90% of life, 90% of success, 90% of growth lives right here, right where we are, in the grind. Yeah, think about the outcome. The outcome is a small piece of the process. And it's literally the end of the process as well. When you're sitting in the grind, you're creating, you're building, albeit slow, sometimes not seeing the progress. But that's the job of the grind. And the outcome is the outcome. And it's over and done. So the grind is interesting. The outcome, the race, the big event, that's where the intensity goes. But the grind, it's not. It's not the season of intensity. The grind is the season of consistency. In the grind, you don't need to be extreme. You don't even need to be perfect. You just need to be present. Every moment. Just a little every day. A step, even when it's heavy. A promise kept, especially when no one's watching. Because consistency powerfully whispers the thing that motivation will probably shout and then abandon. Small disciplines repeated with consistency every day lead to great achievements, but they're gained slowly over time. John C. Maxwell. And if you think about it, within the grind, there will be months, cold, dark months, maybe more, where it really appears like nothing is happening. It'll feel like no real progress, no recognition at all, or very little, and no real signs that it's working. That's the perception of the grind, of the months. But the truth is, beneath the surface, just like a tree, you're growing roots down deep through the consistency, through those dark periods. Think about a tree sitting in the winter with no leaves. I imagine its roots are still reaching out, reaching deeply, and holding, because these are the times when the winds come too. Like the trees drop their leaves in the stormy season, just before the stormy season, and the roots grab on and hold really tight. And that way the wind doesn't blow the tree down. And over the years, year after year after year of continuously being consistently growing deeper roots, the tree can weather greater storms. And like I said, could be months where nothing seems to be happening, or the perception of that. But the foundations are setting. And then one day, suddenly, everything will happen at once. But it only happened because you stayed when it was quiet. And you worked when no one was listening. And continued when no one cheered. Think about those mornings, those cold, wet, miserable days. I think about this too as I'm coming back to running. I'm going to run my first marathon in May. Right now it's January. And how hard they are, how hard it is to get through the day, and how hard it is to be there alone with my internal dialogue telling me I'm not going to get there. And yet I keep on running. Those are the days when you and I do this. Those are the sacred days. Those days ask one question. Who are we becoming when it is uncomfortable? Every time we show up anyway, we are voting for our future self. We're voting for what's possible. We're voting for who we could be, who we can be, who we're meant to be. But not loudly, not dramatically, but quietly and powerfully. And when you think about motivation, motivation is a guest, but discipline is family. Discipline stays when motivation leaves. Discipline is what gets you through, not motivation. And when you lean into discipline, not harshly, not shooting on yourself, but gently, you begin to trust yourself. And that trust is the space where your confidence is born. There's a quote, "We are what we repeatedly do." Excellent, then, is not an act, but a habit. Excellence is a habit. So as you're going through the grind, it's good to look back. Don't live there, but every now and then look back. Not to judge, not to regret, not to look at how far you have to go, but to honestly see how far you've come. It's interesting. The brain forgets pain. The brain also tries to make everything the same. But if you start looking back with optimistic eyes to see how far you've actually come, not really focusing on how far you have to go, you will see how you survived the things you once thought would break you. And you kept going when you didn't think you could. And you know what? That really matters more than anything. Now, one of the tricks to making the grind a little better is to grind with others when you can. There's research out there that says when you do hard things with other people, your perceived intensity goes down 30%. So 30% of the perceived difficulty goes down. That's why it's easier to do a run with other people and train with other people, do the all-night study session with other people. And as you grind with others, the intensity goes down, but what rises is connection. When you grind with others towards a goal, supporting them and allowing them to support you, you forge bonds that will last a lifetime. And this is why team matters, why community matters, and honestly, a shared struggle is sacred. And there are gifts in the grind. And the beauty of the grind isn't the suffering. The real beauty of the grind is who you become. It's a relationship you build with yourself through getting out there even when you don't want to. It's the quiet pride that rises within you every time you check that workout off the list, or that easy run, or that training session. The resilience you build by continuously leaning into consistency. And the strength that comes up through overcoming all these things, the mental, the physical, and the emotional strength. And finally, of course, like we said before, in the power of grinding together, all the relationships that grow with you, with others, and yourself. These are the gifts of the grind. So one of the tricks, because it's really hard, the brain is designed to be hyper vigilant to threat. It's always looking for what's wrong, something that's threatening, looking for how hard things are, looking for how there's a chance that you'll never make it. But there's a truth. If you can change the way you look at things, the things you look at will change. And I've heard this lately, a lot of people talking, oh, it's so dark and it's so wet and it's so cold. I don't want to run out of it. I can't do it anymore. And, those are all valid points. But if the truth is what you focus on expands, how is that going to serve you? How is that going to help you if you're focusing on that? On the other hand, what if you can take a look, start really looking for beauty? Because the truth of life is simple. You find beauty where you look for it. When you look at the grind with an optimistic eye, you'll see strength forming, character sharpening, confidence deepening. When you grind with others, you can think of it like birds of a feather grind together. Birds of a feather grind together. And together you rise. And the beauty of overcoming things and seeing who you really are. And the beauty in quiet moments, even in the dark. See, there's always beauty, and there's always the opposite. But what you focus on will expand. You'll see more of. And the truth is, it's the climb. It's not the summit. You've probably heard people say this. It's not about the summit. It's not about the mountain you climb. It's about who you become during the climb. It's about all the moments that added together to get you to the place. Because so many people, if you talk to them when they do great and wonderful things, it can almost, the accomplishment or the outcome can almost be underwhelming. So you can't put everything on the outcome. You need to put some stuff on the grind, on the climb. You need to focus on what you're getting from that. And I believe it with all my heart, because the summit is brief, but the climb shapes you forever. So remember, tomorrow morning or evening, as you're getting out for your run in the dark and cold and wet, or heading to the gym in the morning or the evening, or going to the pool, or sitting down with that project, that dream project. Whatever you're moving towards, keep your head up, especially on the cold days and the dark mornings and on the quiet weeks. This is the work. And one day you'll look back and thank yourself for not quitting. For not quitting when it was the hardest. But not only that, you'll find the beauty in the quiet moments. You will find the beauty in the grind. Because life was never supposed to be the outcome. Life is found in the process. So enjoy your January. Try to lean into the beauty. Try to lean away from the negative thought process, the negative conversations. Keep your heads just above the clouds so you can see the mountain that you're heading for. And dig into the grind and see, really watch for what it's training, what it's teaching you, what it's building in you. Thanks for hanging out with me again. Keep looking for beauty in the grind and keep building your own inner advocate.
Thank you for listening to this episode of Your Inner Advocate, a podcast by Kimmin Peterson, formerly Conversations with Kimmin. If you found value in today's episode, please follow, like, and share the podcast with someone who you think may benefit from it. You can listen on Apple Podcasts, Spotify, Podbean, and connect on Instagram at your_inner_advocate. Until next time, keep listening to and developing your inner advocate.